Hey, what's popular with the kids? Harry Potter, right? Yeah, Harry Potter's still popular, which actually it is. It's not even a joke. So let's do this thing where we recast all of the DC mystic magic characters as basically a Harry Potter style young adult novel sort of thing. I did a video on the first issue of this, didn't do an issue on the second, but uh, basically this series it's kind of it is kind of weird. It's also kind of intriguing. It seems like what they went with is that they know that there's interest in the mystic side of the DC universe. They know that there is they see things like Justice League Dark, the movie, doing fairly well. They see the fan art, they see the fan reactions to it. They know that characters like John Constantine and Zatanna and Etrigan and the Spectre, and they know that characters like that have a lot of popularity, and they know that the work of Neil Gaiman and Alan Moore and Grant Morrison and people that have worked on the mystic side of the DC universe at various points, they know that that work has stuck around more when a lot of other works really didn't. A lot of this series comes from Neil Gaiman's Books of Magic series, which actually seems to be the main reference for it. Although there's other references for it that kind of come out of are kind of completely different. So they know that there's interest in the mystic side of the DC universe, but I'm guessing that they're not 100% sure how to capitalize on it. They've been trying to make a Justice League Dark movie for ever since the New 52 started. Ever since the Justice League Dark comic series got launched, they've been trying to make a movie out of it. That really hasn't gone anywhere. James Tynion is writing a new Justice League Dark series later this year. That one, unfortunately, it looks like that they're using the costumes and the team dynamics and everything else from the New 52 series, which really kind of sucks because I really don't like the idea of Justice League Dark. I mean, most of these characters are anarchists and hyper individualists that really don't like each other. I don't see them sticking together as a team for any real length of time. And then some of the team dynamics within that are just kind of stupid. So that's like, okay, so maybe Justice League Dark, maybe that's the way to go, maybe it's not. But what if there's another way to capitalize on it? What if we do it in this young adult style, sort of more teen-friendly story? Maybe that will resonate with people. Maybe that's our sort of in to bringing these characters to a wider medium. Now, I don't know how successful this has been. I can't blame them for trying, and the fact that this is, it's an alternate take, it's non-canon, it's not changing anything in the wider DC universe. So I can't really get mad at it for doing something new, because I feel like if they're going to do something new, this is the right way to do it. The writer is somebody I've never heard of before named Alyssa Whitney. Artist, I've also never heard of him, Mike Norton. I don't know what Alyssa Whitney background is. I'm guessing she's a YA author who read Neil Gaiman's Books of Magic when she was a teenager and was really blown away by it. She is somebody who has clearly studied a lot of actual magic. I didn't cover the second issue, but in that issue there was a lot of references to like real mystical stuff and real like references to mystical history. I'm not saying that I actually believe in magic, but there is a long tradition and a long lexicon of magic and mysticism that even if, whether or not it actually works, whether or not it's quote-unquote real, people still believed in it. So it's sort of real in that sense. So, this is somebody who, to the extent that magic is real, she's somebody who clearly understands it. There's references in the second book that I didn't know about. I actually learned some stuff reading it, like they mentioned what the first song was, the first song that we have on record as being like a complete composition with music and everything. It's just a short little thing written on some Greek urn, but it's still, I didn't know that was it. I thought it was, I don't know what I thought, but it was different than that. So the plot here is that sometime in the future, there is this incredibly powerful, evil, spiritual entity called the Malevolence, which, kind of a generic name, but whatever. So the Malevolence, it basically takes over the entire world. It's about to end everything, and Zatanna and Dr. Psychic, which is Dr. Occult's feminine half, basically do this last-ditch spell where they essentially rewrite history. And they basically retroactively establish this school, Mystik U, that all magic characters basically have to get funneled through so that they can figure out who the Malevolence actually was. So the story is around, we've got Zatanna, Enchantress, Sargon the Sorcerer's kid, Devit, Sebastian Faust, and this character who I believe is a new character named Pia, who I've just been calling Zatanna's minority friend. So, even though this is a new thing, even though it's hard to judge it based on the usual portrayals of things on the DC Mystic side of the universe, the tonal whiplash of the series kind of gets to you, especially in this particular issue. It's like, in this sequence here, Zatanna was literally dead. Not figuratively, but Sebastian Faust accidentally basically ate her soul. They called in Dr. Occult, and Dr. Occult's like, yeah, she dead. But then Zatanna's minority friend here says, oh no, she's not dead, and brings her back to life. And then they just go on to talking about, like, studying and tests and exams all over again. Because they do this weird thing where, like, there's this central mystery of this Malevolence that's really bad, and they're trying to find that, and that's really serious. But then the main 5 characters here just talk about going to school and stuff like it's a regular school. It kind of is all over the place, and you'll get whiplash from one scene to the next. And you see characters here like Mr. E. Now, Mr. E's a pretty obscure character, and the reason I keep referencing Books of Magic is because I really don't know what else Mr. E has been in other than Books of Magic. I know he existed before that, but that was where he kind of had a spotlight, where he was this really extremist, self-righteous magic user that had this very, very black and white view of the world, and he's one of these people that thinks evil must be destroyed and good must be defended, but the bar for what he considers good is really, really high. Here he's actually portrayed as a little bit more approachable, a little bit less, sort of borderline insane. But, I mean, he's a teacher. He's just one of many teachers. It's like, why would you ever let this guy near kids? And then, there's other portrayals of him that I don't know about, but why would you? I don't know. That's kind of weird. So then we found out what actually happened, which is that it turns out that, and Sebastian Faust tells Zatanna's minority friend here that Zatanna really was dead, and she brought her back to life, which is to say she committed necromancy. And then when Sebastian Faust takes his glasses off, which Sebastian Faust is another obscure character, but I at least kind of know a little bit about him. He's the son of Felix Faust, who's one of those old enemies of the Justice League. And his thing is that he has soul power. He can use his soul and other people's souls to use magic, which is very dangerous and can potentially kill people very easily. And he's trying to fight against his darker nature. He's trying to rise above the legacy of his father, but it's not going well. So he is one of these people that just his very base nature is very, very dangerous. They actually, and I'll just show the end here, they actually pair him and Zatanna together, and the more I thought about it, the more I realized I like this pairing better than I like Zatanna and Constantine. Because Zatanna and Constantine, the one thing that I've always thought about that is that they really don't need each other. There's nothing that the other has that fulfills the, anything that the other one doesn't have. And Justice League Dark kind of drove this home for me. The Justice League Dark in the series, Zatanna and Constantine were shown as sort of like star-crossed sort of destined lovers, although it ends up going badly. But they were always just constantly arguing and bickering, and not in like a way where they clearly just want each other. It was really like genuine animosity there. But Sebastian, Faust, and Zatanna, for one thing, they have a lot more in common. It's like they both have famous fathers. He's got that sort of edgy kind of thing going on where he has to be a loner because of the nature of his powers. It's like of all of the magicians that could potentially stand up against him, Zatanna has to be one of them just because of the sheer level of her power. So, like, if they made this pairing canon, I wouldn't mind that at all. So I think that the author's onto something there. But, yeah, so anyway, so they figure out this test to figure out who the Malevolence is. And here's another tonal whiplash thing where they agree to sign over 1/6 of their life to this demon, because it's either that or one of them has to die completely. And they're pretty nonchalant about it. It's like they just gave up 1/6 of their lifetime, and they don't really seem to care that much. They don't really focus on it that much. And this guy's a real demon. This is the guy that's bonded to Faust. And we also find out that Zatanna has, even though she hasn't used it, Zatanna's been under the thrall of her minority friend here the entire time because of her being raised back from the dead. Her eyes had been green, now they're blue, which is what they normally are. And in a twist that's sort of so obvious that I just assumed it was a misdirection, but no, it's for real. We find out that the minority friend actually is this Malevolence, and so now she's manifests earlier than she would have in the original timeline, but through the power of friendship, they're basically able to overcome her. And so yeah, now we get even once again, right? I mean, you get this serious moment of them signing over 1/6 of their lifetime. That's just kind of treated as whatever, and then you get this moment here where this evil entity manifests, this thing that almost destroyed the entire world, and they beat it basically with the power of friendship. And then there's just another more references to it being a real school, and then we get this of them riding off into the sunset. So it's like I kind of appreciate them trying something new. If they made this stuff canon, I'd be kind of pissed off, because a lot of the stuff, the way that they characterize people, the way that they some of the decisions they make are pretty stupid. But it's a totally different thing. It's not normal canon, so I can't really fault them for that. But just the tonal inconsistencies in it, they were sort of building up over the course of 3 issues, and now in this final issue, it became a lot harder to ignore, as it just went from really bad things like this to really sort of cutesy things like that. It just I don't know. I kind of want to look up the writer Alyssa Quidney just to see what else she's done. It's something I keep meaning to do and keep not getting around to it. But so yeah, I don't know. Did you read the series? What did you think of it? If they were to make this into like a free-form TV show, would you watch it? Like and subscribe. In any case, this is Unring Chevron signing off.